Warning, this podcast contains spoilers.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for The Flash, Season 1, Episode 9, The Man in the Yellow Suit. I'm your host, Clio, and with me I have Dom.
What's going on? I missed you since our last Arrow podcast. This is an Arrow. Yeah, I guest starred on Arrow last week.
I'm gonna be forever alone again.
Forever alone.
This week. Yeah, that fucking really good episode.
Okay, so I guess let me get this out of the way.
Go.
You were right.
And you want to know the funniest part about me being right?
Sure.
I went back on my theory.
Really?
Right before it was revealed. And I was like, son of a bitch, why did I give up on myself? Because him and Reverse Flash were in the same room at the same time, and I was like, well, that would cause a paradox. Maybe this isn't, it's not him. And then he puts the fucking suit away, and I was like, son of a bitch! But speaking of that, he beat the shit out of himself.
Now, hold on. We don't know 100% that it is him. We don't know that 100%. We know we know for a fact. No.
Did we see the suit come out of the ring? We saw the suit come out of the ring, right?
What ring?
He had the gold ring. And the suit came out of the ring.
I saw the suit get powered up through the ring. Because there was a suit in the wall, right? And then he used the ring and it activated it and it turned the suit on. That does not necessarily. I am saying you're probably right, but I'm also saying there is a very small, minute possibility that is not him in the suit. It could be just another.
Well,
I've created this person and control it, and I have more control over this than I do Barry, kind of thing.
Well, they are treating it on the wiki like he is for reals, for certain.
Right.
Reverse Flash.
You gotta also remember the wiki is written by fans, so.
True. But
I'm just saying. I honestly, I believe he is Reverse Flash. But there is a possibility that he is not.
I guess that's true. And you know what also made me be like, maybe it's not him? The physique. Like, Wells is really, really skinny.
Right.
And whoever's in the
Eddie.
Reverse Flash's suit, it's not Eddie. If it has any relation to Eddie, it's a son or a grandson. Or an older Eddie coming back to the future. I don't know. We're getting into weird territory, though.
But how would that explain Wells? Because Wells would be, like, super old by then.
What do you mean?
If Wells is Reverse Flash, and it's somebody from the future, Wells would be super old.
I actually had a complete, like, crazy realization that the man who is calling himself Harrison Wells might not be Harrison Wells. He might have stolen Harrison Wells' identity.
He would have had to stole it before the particle accelerator exploded, though.
Yeah, 10 years. That's not that much. For someone who's crazy, 10 years is not that much to wait.
The other theory that I have is that if he is if he has the same powers as the Flash, if he is like Barry, he may age at a completely different rate.
That's true. But I think I may have mentioned this last week or a week before or something, that the Reverse Flashes, at least in the comics, at least in Flashpoint, that's kind of where I'm drawing my knowledge of this, that the Reverse Flash, the Flash, and the Flash, all like the iterations of the Flash generate the Speed Force, and the Reverse Flash uses the Speed Force. So when Barry runs and uses his powers, he's creating energy for the Speed Force, fueling the Speed Force. But when Reverse Flash uses his powers, he's taking from the Speed Force. That's why he's Reverse Flash, because it's literally the reverse of Barry's power.
Interesting.
Which explains why Harrison wants Barry to keep running, keep getting faster, because he wants a bigger Speed Force to draw off of when he uses his powers.
Yeah, actually, that would make quite a bit of sense.
Yeah, I wrote just down a question in the notes, just running off my head. Do you think Wells has any relation to Eddie?
I wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility. I mean, if he is Reverse Flash, if he did come from the future, and he's in the present, that means... Yeah, but I don't know. Now, there has to be two of them, right? If he's
Why does
also...
there have to be two of them?
Because he was in there fighting himself.
Yeah.
There's got to be two. He can't, like, lay there, take the costume off, have him stationary.
He's a time traveler.
Right, so there's got to be two. That's what I'm saying. There's two in that time period. There's two versions of himself. That's what I'm saying. So if he's a time traveler, he exists as the Reverse Flash from the future and exists as himself in the present.
Well, how I was thinking it was, he comes from the future to the past, lives as Wells for 10 years from when his wife died to now, and then I guess whatever he's doing with Barry ends, then he goes back, kills Nora, beats himself up, fights Barry.
Right, but for him to fight himself, there's got to be two versions of him. He can't fight himself without himself being there.
Yeah, but it would be either a younger or an older version of himself.
Right.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
So he has to exist twice.
He's
one point.
doing his Wells thing, his Star Labs thing, while a past or a future version of himself is running around as the Reverse Flash.
Correct. And we're probably leading toward a future version of himself, as he's so obsessed with the future, which... Yes. I don't... So this could explain how he has prior knowledge of the future, too, because if he's got... Alright, so if he has all these news articles or whatever, let's say all the news... Well, basically, today, we don't even have to worry about the future. Today, all news articles are pretty much online. Yeah. So let's say he was able to bring back, through whatever method of time travel, whether it's running around the world backwards at so much speed or whatever. That's
not really...
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Let's say he brought back like a flash drive with all kinds of news articles on it and then loaded it into his current database, and that's how he would have knowledge of the future, because he's got all this information.
Well, I mean, it does seem like he has some sort of smart computer, whether it's...
Right, but then we saw the other episode where it altered itself. So even, I mean, bringing the information from the future back to the past would give a Back to the Future kind of effect if something changed. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's
possible that room could exist. Now I'm getting crazy. Could exist in the future, in 2024, was that the 10 years in the future? So whatever changes are happening in 2014 would affect what's in that room 10 years later. But now I'm saying it sounds like nonsense, but...
No, I understand what you're saying. But we haven't seen him enter any time-dimensional kind of thing.
No,
he didn't run really fast. He literally just rolled into the room in his wheelchair, so...
Yeah.
That's the only... I'd be all for that theory if we hadn't seen that.
If there's anything to back it up.
So...
I don't know.
Oh, it's super frustrating. I guess it really depends on...
We got some answers, but then it's like we didn't really get some answers.
Right. I guess it really depends on what kind of time travel is the time travel that they're using.
Yeah. Because Wells beats himself up, and my theory is that Barry grabs his younger self and puts him in the middle of the street. So in both cases, they're touching a former or a future version of themselves And that should cause a paradox, but this might be a universe where time travel creates an alternate dimension instead of causing paradoxes. So that's how you get around the
I don't think it creates
thing.
an alternate dimension. I just don't think it creates a paradox either. Because if it created an alternate dimension, Barry never would have been the Flash, and he wouldn't have been able to interact with himself from the past. So,
but there's the theory, but there's, it also could have been that Wells going back in. No, I don't know. Now it's not making sense.
Yeah, no, because that wouldn't be an alternate. It just seems like that if that is the case, if Barry saved Barry, and if Wells beat up Wells, that this is a what always happened kind of time travel effect.
Yeah, but the way that
no matter what you do, you can't change the past because it already happened.
Maybe, but I know from the comics, time is fluid, and you can change the past.
But see, I really, 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 really hate doing this, but this is the only way I can explain this, is I have to ruin another show, and I hate to do this. Lost. I have to.
That's fine.
I have to. I'm sorry,
Listen,
but I have to.
It's been so long that if you haven't watched Lost by now, you're not gonna.
Yeah, so I'm really sorry. If you haven't seen Lost, go. Leave. Get the fuck out of here. But in Lost, they started introducing time travel very lightly around season 2, and it wasn't until like season 4 where they went full on time travel, and then season 5 really dealt with, or I think it was the end of season 5 actually, because Lost went 6 seasons. I think Lost went 6 seasons. So season 5 really, they built up to this moment where like they were doing all this time traveling in season 5, right? And they're going through and they're trying to change the events of something that happened. But everything that they did to try to further change it only led it to happen even like more. Yeah. So they couldn't change it. By trying to change it meant they couldn't change it.
Yeah.
So I that's the kind of time travel I believe that we're dealing with right here. Is because we're going to have Barry, this is my prediction, we're going to have Barry go back now, and he's like chasing the Reverse Flash, and he's going to chase him back to his childhood, and he's going to try to change things, and he's going to try to save his mother, which he can't do because it already happened. So something's going to happen, he's going to zoom himself out of there, he's going to get back, she's still going to die. Yeah. Everything's still going to go down the way it went down, and I don't think there's going to be any changing that.
You're right. I don't think that Barry's going to save his mother, but I feel like this has happened in other versions of Barry, where he's going to see the opportunity to save his mother and realize that that's the wrong thing to do. And it's not that he cannot save his mother, it's that he knows he shouldn't. I feel like, especially, we've seen a lot of Barry struggling with being unable to save a person. Like, I think it's happened twice. Or once. Someone died and he was unable to save them. I think it's going to come to be where he shouldn't. And that's the moral decision he has to make.
I don't think he's going to be able to come to that decision on his own and just be like, yeah, I shouldn't save my mother. Like, this is... he's traumatized because of it.
Yeah, I know. And that, I don't think, is going to happen for a while.
I think it's, like I said, I think it's just going to get to the point he's going to try everything he can to save her. And we kind of speculate that none of this would have went down if Barry's parents made it through. So, like, if Barry's mother was alive, right, Barry's father never would have went to jail, which means Barry never would have went to live with Joe and Iris, which means Barry probably would not have gotten into the police role, because he did that because, hanging out with Joe, and I'm sure that influenced his field, which means he never would have been in his office, in his lab, when the lightning struck, which means he never would have become the Flash. So that would be the paradox it's created, and that's why I'm saying that it's the whatever happened kind of sense of time travel, where he cannot physically, no matter what he does, change that.
And I would agree with you if I didn't know the DCU. time, especially with the Flash, is fluid and it can change. That doesn't mean that it's going to. It can.
But you gotta also remember that this is a TV show and they could be going a completely different route. So
I know.
We've already seen that with the Reverse Flash.
That's why in the debating of the show, I want to agree with you. But me knowing what happens in the DCU, I can't agree
But you knowing what happens in the DCU, Eddie is the Reverse Flash, and you pulled Wells out of your ass. So you are one right away that should understand that you can't go by DCU canon.
No, I know. But yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
That's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be for a while because from the previews for Future, it seems like it's back to business as normal, and nobody knows that Wells is suspicious, like, at all.
Right.
How long do you think this is gonna last?
Mid-season. I mean, the finale.
Probably. And we're gonna be stewing in our juices again. Like, God, why?
Yeah. I mean, what is the Reverse Flash? How does he tie into Gorilla Grodd? Do we know?
Besides the rogues, I don't really know how other villains tie in with each other.
Right.
And neither Reverse Flash or Grodd are part of the rogues, so I'm not exactly sure.
I just know that Wells has an obsession with Gorilla Grodd, so...
Well, Wells also has knowledge of the future, so...
Right, this is true.
He knows how Gorilla Grodd is going to play into the Flash's history. So
yeah, yep.
He knows Gorilla Grodd's important.
Indeed, indeed.
I can't wait. Like, I feel like they're going to string us along for a little bit, too, before they give us Grodd, but I think it'll be worth the wait. We've got so much in the meantime.
Yep.
Like, we are not wanting.
No, not at all. This show is doing so well.
I know! And for, like, a mid-season finale of all the mid-season finales we've seen so far...
I just want to say on a side note, that there's been rumblings the show has been doing so well that they want to move the time slot of Supernatural because of this show. And that's only because Supernatural doesn't need this show as a lead-in. That other shows that are either new shows, I think they said iZombie or something is coming out, or something on the CW, or one of their weaker shows right now stands a better chance of following up after Flash, that they might finagle the schedule around coming back from the winter break. So we shall see.
That.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter to me. I watch them the day after. So.
Yep.
So it's Christmas at the West House. How fucking adorable was that?
It's great. It's great. I liked Barry and Iris opening their gifts.
Oh my god.
And
listen, she bought him a microscope.
That's not a bad gift, though. That's super expensive. Like
that's what I was gonna say. That's super expensive.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, my gift sucks in comparison." I'm like, "Bitch, that is thousands of dollars."
Yeah,
that's. What are you talking about?
I mean, I understand where she's coming from on an emotional attachment level. It does not compare, but it's.
Where does she get the $1,000 to pay for that microscope?
I have no clue.
She gets her father's policeman discount.
Yeah, pretty much. She stole it. She stole it from Skylabs, Star Labs, Mercury Labs, one of those labs.
One of those labs.
So.
Anyway, yeah, Barry gives her a replica of her mother's wedding ring.
Yeah. Whatever happened to her mother? We never got that story, did we?
No, I don't think we're gonna get that until, I don't know. I hope we get like an Iris episode, like a.
Iris and Joe,
Iris, I love Joe.
Because we can't have Iris's mother without finding out how Joe and her were, in a relationship together, and I'm assuming they had a happy relationship. I don't really know. We don't know anything about that, do we? They haven't even mentioned it until this episode. Died. Yeah.
All we know is that she's dead. We don't know how, but it's something that scared Joe enough to not want Iris to get hurt in any way.
Yeah.
It's may have been a murder, may have been an accident, may have been suspicious in some way, but enough for Joe to not want her to be a policeman.
Reverse Flash, maybe?
I doubt it. Nah, I don't know.
Because we just got through how saying all this stuff was connected without Joe's mother being gone may have not taken Barry in. So Wells might have orchestrated this whole thing, knowing with knowledge of the future, and I don't know.
Maybe.
To have something that we haven't talked about yet and just be like some random thing that isn't tied to anything just seems a little off at this point. Like,
I'm not saying that's not tied to anything.
Right.
I'm just saying it might not be directly tied to Wells.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but it's obviously something big to make Joe as paranoid as he is. So I don't know about you, but I want some of Grandma West's eggnog.
Yeah.
Light on the bourbon.
Light on the bourbon.
I like her definition of light. That was really funny.
Yeah. And then Barry's drinking it, and I'm like, Barry, you don't even get drunk.
Doesn't matter. Tastes good. Yeah. Speaking of gifts, Eddie asked Iris to move in with her with a key and a ring box. I was like, what is happening here?
Totally not what we thought was going to happen.
Oh.
When we read the synopsis last week.
Yeah.
And he's like, has a life-changing question for Iris. We were like, oh. And
that's a bit soon.
Yeah, it wasn't that. Maybe
to
us
cute.
It is, but don't forget they've been together for a year, right?
Yeah, and I've known people who've gotten married after a year of dating. Yeah. But you know,
to me that's soon as well. But some people, they know.
Some people. No, you're right.
So.
But yeah, moving in definitely seems like a more sane.
Yeah,
step.
I agree.
But then Barry finally tells Iris how he feels.
Yeah, that's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
I'm glad that he finally spilt the beans.
Me too.
I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we go back to our pilot podcast, and I think we predicted mid-season finale for that.
Did we?
I think we did.
I wanted it to be like sooner.
Yeah. I think it was maybe I may have suggested it first, and you're like, no, I want to see it sooner. But I was like, it would be kind of a, I if I remember correctly, my memory's a little fuzzy lately.
Probably.
But I think you were in agreement at that point that it would make for a fairly good mid-season finale. So. Yeah. And I think it did.
I'm glad it's out there, but we saw when Barry congratulated Eddie.
It left some lingering doubt in her face.
A little uncomfortable.
Yeah, like it seemed like it left some lingering doubt in her. Like maybe
it definitely is gonna change the way she sees him, whether there's any doubt or not.
Yeah.
The way she looks at Barry.
I mean the doubt is whether or not she should still be with Eddie. It's leaving that kind of doubt. So.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're gonna see how she handles that.
Yeah. This is why I'm glad that there's now a break here. I'm glad that they did it and then there's a break because they let us stew over this and they give some time to have passed too. When we come back, it may not be like the week following, it may be a month or so. You know?
And I'm nervous because, excuse me.
You're excused.
Excuse me. I'm nervous because she didn't immediately tell Eddie like she immediately told Eddie about everything else.
Well, why should that make you nervous? Don't you think Eddie and or don't you think Barry and Iris would make a better couple than Eddie and Iris?
It's not about that. It's about that she's keeping something from Eddie, which does mean that she might have conflicting feelings.
Exactly.
Which is bad if she breaks Eddie's heart because she doesn't tell him and then things get weird.
And then and then Eddie Jesus Christ.
Betty Thin.
And then Eddie turns into Reverse Flash too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm still having doubts about just because the build of the Reverse Flash is not Wells' build. It's someone who's got bigger shoulders than him.
That's why I want to agree with you, and all things are pointing towards that it's Wells. They really are. But I think it's a red herring to throw us off. So
it might be.
I mean, it looks a little more similar. It looks a little more similar to Eddie's build. A little more similar than it does to Wells.
It does.
However, didn't we even hear Wells speaking in the voice of the Reverse Flash at the very end of the episode?
We did.
So I don't know if that's just a product of being too close to the suit, and there's things we don't know about that.
Yeah, there are. We're just gonna
but it did sound. I was really trying to focus on the voice because, like, when you hear Barry talk as the Flash,
you can still tell it's Barry.
You could tell it's Barry. So I was like, I got to do the same with Reverse Flash, and it sounded a lot like Eddie to me. So.
Well, it could be like in Lord of the Rings when Gandalf, when you don't know it's Gandalf yet, and he sort of sounds like Saruman because they totally use Christopher Lee's voice, but it's not. It's Ian McKellen.
Right,
I don't know.
Could be.
I don't know. Yeah, no fucking clue.
They
but
did a good job.
Mercury Labs.
Yes.
We have Amanda Pays reprise her role as Tina McGee from the old Flash show.
Old Flash show. Yep.
Yeah, what do you think about Tina McGee? I like her.
I thought she was good. I want to see more of Mercury Labs. I want to see more of her. And the fact that their prototype is basically what's powering the Reverse Flash at this point.
Yeah. Well, we know he wants it because it what did he say? It like unlocks potential in cells and shit. Some shit. I don't even know what it does.
But the prototype, they said the prototype didn't even function as well as the final product, and what Wells has in his hand, and we later see attached to the Reverse Flash suit, is only the prototype.
Yeah.
So can you imagine what that suit's going to have when the full working version is attached to that thing?
Yeah.
Like, I can only imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it definitely seems like the suit is important.
Yep.
The suit is powering or channeling or whatever.
So it may not even be that the Reverse Flash has those powers. It may be
the suit.
The suit is the power.
Yeah, maybe.
And would also explain why it needs to be powered by the life forces and does not generate the life force or speed force.
Speed force. Yeah. Yeah, true. Tina compares Barry to Wells and like says, "You're no wonder he likes you.
Mm-hmm.
Just like him.
Just like him.
Just like him.
Just like a reverse version of him." See now, if this was Gotham,
was so funny.
If this was Gotham, that totally would be some wording that they used. You're almost like Barry, but the complete reverse opposite of him.
Well, that's what Reverse Flash said. He was like, "You could say I'm the reverse."
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. You think that's gonna be something when Barry finds out that Wells is Reverse Flash or is evil? Is that like, "You're just like me. I'm nothing like you"? You think we're gonna get?
You're not my real dad.
I'm nothing like you. It seems like foreshadowing for Wells.
I think there's gonna be some conflict there because Wells is somebody Barry looks up to right now. So.
Oh yeah.
He's almost a second father figure for Barry.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a role model.
So all right. So Barry his father figure is Joe, but the Flash's father figure is Wells.
Yes.
So it's kind of the two identities have their own father figure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's going to be a very big travesty when he realizes who Dr. Wells really is and what his real agenda is.
Yeah. Firestorm!
Yes.
Listen, as awesome as all the Reverse Flash stuff was, when Firestorm came up, I was just like, yes!
I didn't expect him to... I forgot about him already. Like, they showed him at the beginning of the episode, and, Cisco and Caitlin are there, and they're like, what's his name now? I forgot his name. Ronnie. They're like, Ronnie. He's like, "I'm not Ronnie. Firestorm!" And, like, he pulls a Majin Goku and, like, runs away, Like, It's over 9,000, and then just like flies out of there. You know,
9,000. Yeah. What do you think of what do you think that means? I'm not Ronnie.
I don't want to say that he forgets who he is, because he came back for Caitlyn.
Yeah.
So there's still part of him. I think he's trying to repress it. I think he really he feels like a completely different person now. So he's calling himself Firestorm, right? And I think that's who he's trying to be. I think he's trying to repress the other memories. So his initial reaction is, I'm not Ronnie, you know, and then he's like, don't come looking for me.
Well,
they're gonna go looking for him.
They're going, of course they're going. Caitlyn says she doesn't want to see him like that, but I definitely think that Cisco is going to try and at least track him down, if not.
Cisco's going to try to redeem himself. Like, Cisco feels miserable about what he did.
He feels guilty.
We saw that in the flashback a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
You know? But Caitlyn's got a point, too. What are we going to do? Lock him up in the containment unit like fucking Ghostbuster over there? You know?
Ghostbuster. Well, okay, so how Firestorm worked in the comics was it was two people caught in a reactor explosion.
Okay.
And when they are fused together, they are Firestorm. But they can break apart into the two people that make Firestorm.
Interesting. So
but what
that means somebody else would have had to have been in the reactor.
Possibly. It could be. But the thing is, even when he's on fire, you still see that it's Ronnie's face.
Right. Huh.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around who could have been in the accelerator with him at that time. Because, I mean, we didn't really see much of him on the inside of the... When
we saw him duck into the little canal that was carved out of the side, you know, conveniently carved out the side.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that...
That looked like that scene from Independence Day.
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, where they, like, kick that door open, the fire's gushing out the tunnel, and they sit in there, and there's no longer a door, you know, and they just sit in this little tiny, like, maintenance room, you know, and the fire just happens to rush by them. Well, that's exactly what happened here, except it didn't save his life.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it did. We don't really know, but, you know, he's alive now. But could somebody else have been in there? Maybe, because that's how at least the Firestorm I'm familiar with works. Right, but from the flashback we saw, I didn't see anybody. Right? We didn't hear about anybody else going in there.
But if they might change how Firestorm works, but if there is someone else in his head with him, that could explain why he's like, I'm not Ronnie. And it could also explain why then later he comes back to save Caitlyn and Cisco and Barry.
No, I totally agree with that. I think he is going to be two people. I'm just curious of how they're going to pull that off and make it seem like they didn't retcon themselves.
No, they're definitely setting it up with the way he's speaking and how he's presenting himself. So I think they're planning for it, but it's definitely going to be different than any version of Firestorm we've ever seen.
Which to me is 0.
Yeah, and do you think Wells is going to want to bring him in? Because Wells knows. I mean, he guessed. I mean, he knew, but he guessed.
I think Wells already knows about him, you know.
Well, he said outright to Caitlyn, he's like, I know you're keeping it from me.
Right, but I think he's been tracking Ronnie for a while. I think that's what it is. I don't know. Wells probably has something up his sleeve with him, but I don't think containing him is part of that agenda right now.
Okay. Yeah, it was just something I thought. I was like, he knows about him now. Maybe, you know, I want to bring him in. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Anything I missed? Any other thing that's burning in your brain?
I liked Cisco accidentally naming the Reverse Flash a few times. Opposite
Well,
Flash.
what do you say? Opposite Flash, and then he went, I'm not trying to name. That wasn't me trying to name him.
Yeah. Cisco.
I just gotta make that clear.
Yeah, Cisco's me. And I'm surprised Cisco didn't mention it, but you know what? That freeze gun sure would have came in handy again.
I know.
And now we really know why Dr. Wells was so angry about it in the first place, because if they did have it and they were using it, he wouldn't be able to get himself out of it. Yeah. The whole point of this containment unit that Wells created is if Wells knew from the future that he had already created this, he knew that he was going to get out, and he knew that beating himself up was going to give himself the leverage enough to throw everybody off his trail.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but I think with in terms of the freeze gun, he was more in the moment worried about Barry being killed, because he needs Barry to generate the Speed Force for him to function. So.
Right. Yeah, I think
in the moment it was like, put Barry in danger. How dare you?
Yeah, I think it was a little both. I think it was mainly that, but I think there was also this side effect of, hey, yeah, that could stop me too, and we don't want that.
I want that. And my mom said something that I agree with, and she's like, I wish someone will realize what Ollie realized, that he's shady. I'm like, yeah, I wish that too.
Yeah, and maybe Ollie will be the one to point it out eventually. Maybe
they do another crossover.
We know there's going to be another crossover at some point. To the degree, I don't think it may. It may. Who knows? It may be to the same degree that it was this last time.
Maybe, or they may be sparse and like peppered around. But when we come back, where the fuck is it? When we come back, the episode that we're getting is called Revenge of the Rogues. Yep. So we know at least Captain Cold is coming back. Whoop. And his pyro friend, I forget his name. Whatever.
Not Firestorm.
Not Firestorm, the other pyro guy. So it's definitely going to be Captain Cold, Pyro Man, and I think it's going to be Captain Boomerang.
So many captains in this crew.
Wait, you know what? No, it's probably not going to be Captain Boomerang. Not yet. Not yet, because Argus has Captain Boomerang locked up. So. Oh
yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Not yet. We're gonna have to get Slade back before we get Captain Boomerang. But we're definitely getting some of the rogues that we've seen so far.
Yep. Do we know if Arrow crosses over to the rogue storyline at all?
What do you mean?
In the comics?
Probably. I mean, they share some bad guys. They're Green Arrow and the Flash are close in proximity. Their cities are pretty close, so sometimes they do overlap. They share villains, So.
Yeah. I want to see Ollie go up against some more metahumans though. That's what I want to see.
Oh my god, yeah, me too. He'll kick some of their asses, like the dumb ones, but I would love to see him go up against Captain Cold, because Captain Cold is very, very tactical and smart.
Yeah.
That would be a showdown I would want to see.
Mm-hmm. Because, we could kind of lump Barry in with those dumb ones, because he pretty much was when he was fighting Ollie.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, we don't have a synopsis for the Revenge of the Rogues, but that will be coming up January 20th.
Excellent.
Yep.
Cannot come soon enough. I can't wait. And like I said, the show's been doing so well that they want to start moving the schedule around to lead weaker shows into
weaker
this
shows.
One. Yeah, so oof.
Yeah,
if they actually change the schedule up is one thing, but there's talks of it, so that's all we know, and that just means good things. That right there pretty much guarantees you're gonna see a season 2 of the show.
Yeah.
Not that we weren't already expecting it, but that pretty much solidifies it for you right there. Yeah. And if they don't change it after the mid-season, you can 100%. It's going to be changed next season. So.
Oh yeah. All right, Dom, where can the people find you?
You can find me down below at Phenomedom, Phenomedom.
You can find me at Cliomoto, and I'm gonna have a bunch of Hobbit videos out this week and the next couple of weeks, because The Hobbit is coming out. Yay! Phenomedom, do.
Wow, that was like a huge delay.
Oh yeah, I was waiting.
You got me on that
I was
one.
waiting. Lying in wait. And you can find all of us and more at ASOTV Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, Google+, MySpace. Sorry.
You need a throat lozenge?
I have another one here.
I have one.
Good.
Here you go.
And right here on YouTube. We will see you later.
Later. We'll see you.
Whether you just watch this show or you watch the other ones. Oh, I'm gonna have Arrow up in the next couple days. So.
Yeah. You'll see Clio there, and you'll see the rest of us when we come back from the winter break.
Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This lozenge sucks. I ate 3 of them.
Well, maybe you should eat 4. Are they menthol ones?
No, I don't think so.
Well, that would be why. You need menthol.
I know! I didn't know these were in menthol!
Well, you gotta get the ones with the eucalyptus in them.
Is that what I gotta get?
Yeah.
Alright.
Because you're clearly a koala bear.
Leo Koala.